Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, because he instructed, especially Rupa and Sanatan, extensively. And they were his immediate followers, his direct disciples. So Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared in this world in, can you turn off that light, please? Thank you. Much better. In 1486, and he stayed on this earth planet for some 48 years. And although he is an avatar or incarnation of Lord Krishna, who, as most of you know, spoke Bhagavad Gita about 5,000 years ago, a little bit more than that. He is Krishna himself, but he is not so famous or well known as Lord Krishna. So sometimes he's called the Chana avatar or Gupta avatar, both of which mean hidden. He's a hidden avatar. And he never proclaimed himself to be an avatar. Or he never said that he was Krishna himself. Although Krishna clearly states his own position in Bhagavad Gita as being the Supreme Personality of Godhead. There's no mistake about that. But his devotees, they could detect the fact that he is an appearance of the Supreme Lord Krishna by various symptoms. Plus, there are many, many verses in the Vedas that predict the appearance of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And one of those verses is from the 11th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam, where the 9 Yogendras are instructing Maharaj Nimi, where it is spoken, Krishna Varnam Tvisha Krishnam Sango Pangasta Parshadam Yagyai Sankirtana Prayer Yajantihi Sumedasaha. The Lord does appear in this age of Kali, but although he is Krishna himself, he is Akrishna, he is not blackish, but he appears in a golden color, which is actually the complexion of Srimati Radharani. So Lord Chaitanya is a very special appearance of Krishna. He's Krishna, but he's covered with the mood and sentiments and bodily luster of Srimati Radharani. And therefore, he comes as a devotee. Who is the greatest devotee of Krishna? Srimati Radharani. She is such a great devotee, spirit soul. We are all. Radharani has her own category, Shakti Tattva. She is the Shakti or energy. You may have heard this word Shakti gets thrown around in yoga circles sometimes. She is Shakti Tattva. She is a living being, but she is the embodiment of love for Krishna. Is her sole purpose, and no one is more expert at loving Krishna than Srimati Radharani. So she is Shakti, and Krishna is known as Shakti Mam. That means one who is the possessor of the Shakti. So he's the source of the Shakti, the owner and controller of all energies. As is explained in the Vedas, Parasya Shaktir Vididhaiva Shruyate Svabhavaki Gana Bala Kriya Cha. Then when Krishna doesn't have to do anything. Naktasya karyam karanam javidyate. Natatsamas chavidikastarishate. He can do whatever he wants. He doesn't have to go to work and pay bills, and he doesn't even have to think about the management of the universe. He deputes that to other living entities known as demigods. But he himself, he has no work to do. But he does many wonderful things, like by his energies create the universe and expand himself into so many living entities, of which that's who we are. We are the living entities, the expansions of Krishna. All that is carried out simply when he desires something to be done. Then his energies act on his behalf automatically. So just like the big boss sitting in his office, and he tells his different secretaries, or if he's a government head, he tells his different ministers, you take care of this, you do that, you do this. So it's all coming from the boss, from the owner, from the controller, and everyone else is carrying out his instructions. So Krishna's energies are like that, they're his servants. So this is all wonderfully described about Krishna and his energies in the Bhagavad Gita, and further in more detailed form in the Srimad Bhagavatam. So those who are yajantihi sumedasaha, possessed of sufficient intelligence, worship this incarnation, Lord Chaitanya, who, although he's not blackish, he is Krishna himself, by yogyai sankirtana prayer, by chanting of the holy names congregationally. And so therefore it is no accident that this congregational chanting of the holy names, it is the process of the Hare Krishna movement. It is the essence of the Krishna consciousness movement. So yajantihi sumedasaha, meda means intelligent, and sumedasaha means very intelligent. So those who are very fortunate and very intelligent, they take part in this chanting of the holy names, this Sankirtan movement, which was inaugurated by Lord Chaitanya. Therefore, he's known as the Yuga Avatar, or the incarnation for this age of Kali, which began right as after Krishna disappeared from this planet 5,000 years ago. So Lord Chaitanya comes in what's called the Yuga Sandhya. There's a juncture between the ages, and the first 5,000 years of this age is the Yuga Sandhya. During that time, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appears. He's called Mahaprabhu. Prabhu means master. So devotees dress one another as Prabhu. That is traditional. And that means master. We accept that the other devotees are my master and I am their servant. And amongst all the Prabhus, there's a special Prabhu, and that is Prabhupada, our Srila Prabhupada. And that means a Prabhu at whose feet, Pada, all the other Prabhus sit and take instruction. So he's a very big Prabhu. And so he's the master, and all the other masters, they sit at his feet and take instruction, which we are all doing, taking instruction in the Hare Krishna movement from Srila Prabhupada. But then there's Mahaprabhu, and that is the name of Lord Chaitanya. Maha means very great. Just like we chant the Maha Mantra, the Hare Krishna mantra, there are many mantras in the Vedas, but of all the mantras, the greatest, the Maha Mantra is the Hare Krishna mantra. So of all the Prabhus, the greatest of all the Prabhus is Mahaprabhu, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And he inaugurates this congregational chanting of the holy names, and he spread it all over India, actually traveled on foot throughout India for 6 years and spread the Krishna consciousness movement. And Srila Prabhupada writes in the authorized biography of Lord Chaitanya called Chaitanya Charitamrita, which is a description of the life and the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, but it is such a wonderful scholarly work that it's infused on every page with the philosophy, the teachings of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So that's the teachings that we follow here in the Krishna consciousness movement. It is the authorized movement of Lord Chaitanya. And the author of the Chaitanya Charitamrita, his name was Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. And he was in the next generation of disciples after Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's immediate disciples. And he compiled all the teachings and all the philosophy of Krishna consciousness together in a book with the description of the activities of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Very wonderful book. We have sets available, don't we?
Yeah.
Yeah. If you want to reach Chaitanya Charitamrita, you will achieve perfection. It is guaranteed. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he left the essence of his instructions called the Shikshashtaka. An Ashtaka is a collection of 8 verses, a very well-known and well-used form by the great writers of transcendental literature. And Shiksha means instruction. I'm going to just briefly read through these verses from the 8 verses of the Shikshashtaka, and then we'll zoom in on the first verse, which goes like this. Cheto darpana marjanam bhavamahadevagni nirvapanam saryat kairai vachandrika vitadanam vidyavadu jivanam anandam buddhivardhanam pratipradam pradamitaswadanam sarvatmasnapanam param vijayate Sri Krishna Sankirtanam. Glory to the Sri Krishna Sankirtan, which cleanses the heart of all the dust accumulated for years together, and thus extinguishes the blazing fire of conditioned life, of repeated birth and death. This Sankirtan movement is the prime benediction for humanity at large, because it spreads the rays of the benediction moon. It is the life of all transcendental knowledge. It increases the ocean of transcendental bliss, and it enables us to fully taste the nectar for which we are always anxious. Second verse. Nam namakadi bahudani jasarva shaktish tatrapitani yamata smarane nakalaha etadrishi tabakripa bhagavan mamapi dodaivami drisham mihajani nanuragaha. O my Lord, your holy name alone can render all benediction to living beings, and thus you have hundreds and millions of transcendental names, such as Krishna and Govinda. In these transcendental names, you have invested all your transcendental energies, and there is no hard and fast rules for chanting these holy names. O my Lord, you have so kindly made approach to you easy by your holy names. But unfortunate as I am, I have no attraction for them. The third verse. Trinadapi sunichena taroriva shahishana amanina manadena kirtanaya sadahari. One should chant the holy name of the Lord in a humble state of mind, thinking oneself lower than the straw on the street. One should be more tolerant than a tree, devoid of all sense of false prestige, and should be ready to offer all respects to others. In such a state of mind, one can chant the holy name of the Lord constantly. The fourth verse. Nidhanam najanam nasundarim makavitam bhajagadisha kamaye mama janmani janmanishvare bhavatad bhaktir ahaituki tvayi. O Almighty Lord, I have no desire to accumulate wealth, nor do I desire beautiful women, nor do I want any number of followers. I only want your causeless devotional service, birth after birth. Text 5. Ainanda tununja kinkaram patitam mam vishame bhavam budao klipayata bhapada pankaja stitaduli sadrisham vachintaya. O son of Maharaj Nanda, I am your eternal servant. That's the name of Krishna. He's the son of Nanda Maharaj. And although I am somehow or other I have fallen in this ocean of birth and death, please therefore pick me up from this ocean of death and fix me up as one of the atoms at your lotus feet. Nayanam garara surudharaya mandanam gadgara rudaya gira pulakaira nichitam vapukada tavanama grahane bhavishyati. O my Lord, when will my eyes be decorated with tears of love, flowing constantly when I chant your holy name? When will my words be choked up when uttering the holy name? And when will all the holes of hair on my body have eruptions by the recitation of your name? That's called horripilation, when the hairs of the body stand on end in ecstasy. And sometimes it happens in fear also. Text number 7. Jugayatam namishena chakshusha pravishayatam Sunyayatam jagat sarvam govinda virahe name. O Govinda, feeling your separation, I am considering a moment to be like 12 years or more. Tears are flowing from my eyes like torrents of rain, and I am feeling all vacant in the world in your absence. And finally, the last verse. Asli shaba padalatam panastumam adarshana marmahatam kurotuba yatatatavad vidatu lampato matprananatastu seivana padaha. I do not know anyone except Krishna as my Lord, and he shall remain so, even if he handles me roughly by his embrace, or he may make me brokenhearted by not being present before me. He is completely free to do anything and everything, because he is always my worshipful Lord, unconditionally. These are very deep and meaningful prayers, but that doesn't mean we shouldn't read them and try to understand them, no matter what our position, whether we're here for the first time or have been here for decades. So the first verse, I'd like to just to zoom in on that a little bit and take a close look at the meaning and talk a little bit about that in the time we have left. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Chaita Darpana Marjanam, that this chanting of Hare Krishna, which is so dear to the devotees and so powerful, as all of you can feel, especially when our Ajitesh is chanting. He's such an expert chanter of the holy names, both in singing, playing harmonium. He's a great mridanga player. He has imbibed the mood of devotion and absorbed that and is able to express that in a very wonderful way. And we're very grateful that he has come all the way from Nepal to stay with us here in the old Pueblo. So Chaita means the heart, and Darpana means the mirror, and Marjana means cleaning. So the heart of the mirror covers the soul, and when that mirror is covered with dust, then you are unable to see the reflection of the soul, or you are unable to understand that you are spirit soul. For the most part, all the conditioned souls in this material world, they're thinking that I am this body, I am this lump of matter. So that is a covering of the soul. Indeed, the soul is covered by the material energy of the Lord, which places one into illusion. And that illusion is so powerful that one thinks that I am this body, even though this body is simply a bag of flesh and bones. And the older you get, what happened to the lights? Yeah, don't turn off the lights. The older you get, the more you realize its temporal nature, as Led Zeppelin sang in one song, your time is gonna come. So sooner or later, death comes to everyone, and this body is finished. But the soul is eternal, and the body is temporary. This is all explained very elaborately by Lord Krishna in the second chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. He explains that the soul, you cannot measure it with scientific instruments. The soul is so subtle that it cannot be detected, even with the most powerful electron microscope. And that is the nature of being a conditioned soul with imperfect senses, and the instruments that you make with your imperfect senses, they are also imperfect. And the soul is not material, so it cannot be detected by measurement. It's beyond measurement. And it is also eternal. But these things we can understand by logic, reason, and philosophy. For sure, the body is temporary. Not going to get any argument there. It comes into existence, takes birth, lasts for some time, it grows, it changes, produces some byproducts, then it dwindles and ultimately disappears. And if someone wants to argue that this is not the case, then what do we call such a person? A fool. A fool. Oh yes. And I heard this interview. There was a series of interviews with these futurists. And one of them was saying that because of the technology we have now, it is so advanced that gradually our lifespans will be increased more and more and more. And pretty soon we will become one with computers and we will live forever. Yeah, and if you believe that, I got a bridge in New York for sale for a very good price. Bargain. It's worth 1,000 times what I'm asking for it. And I will gladly sell that to you. A fool and his money are soon parted, right? Or as P.T. Barnum said, there's a sucker born every minute. That Brooklyn Bridge has been sold many times to many not very intelligent people. But the fact is, this body, it's destined for destruction. But the soul who lives within the body is eternal. This is the teaching of Bhagavad Gita, and this is the beginning of spiritual knowledge. So when we chant the holy names, we clean that covering of the heart, and then the real nature of the soul is revealed, just like when you clean the dust off a mirror, and then you can see your true reflection in that mirror. So that's the first 3 words of the verse. And then Bhava Mahadava Agni Nirvapanam means that the blazing forest fire of material existence is extinguished by this chanting of the holy names. We sing every morning a prayer to the spiritual master. Samsaradhava Nalalita Loka Pranaya Karunya Ganaganacham Praptasya Kalyana Gunar Navasya Vande Guru Sri Charanara. And that verse compares the spirit, compares our existence in this material world to living in a blazing forest fire of repeated birth and death. But the spiritual master who gives us spiritual instruction and enlightens us, he's like a rain cloud of mercy. And so when the rain cloud comes and pours down the rain on the forest fire, it extinguishes that forest fire. So that blazing fire of material existence is the mercy of the spiritual master in the form of his instructions and in the practices of bhakti yoga, primarily the chanting of the holy names. Therefore, Vande Guru Sri Charanara, I offer my obeisances unto the lotus feet of such a spiritual master. The next line, Sreyat Kairaiva Chandika Vitaranam, that this chanting of Hare Krishna, it spreads the white lotus of good fortune, which is like the rays of the moon. The rays of the moon are known to give life to vegetables. Farmers always know you plant according to the moon. Farmers know this. They have spiritual knowledge from the Vedas, apparently, or they have some experience. And the moonshine is also known to be very pleasing and cooling, especially compared to the hot Arizona sun in July. And this chanting of Hare Krishna, it spreads this good fortune like the white lotus of the moonshine to all who take part, all who become receptive by lending their ears to the chanting and by lending their tongue and their lips and their teeth to vibrating this sound. Vidyavado Jivanam. It is the essence or life of all education, of all spiritual education. Because when one practices chanting the holy name, one becomes spiritually enlightened. And that is the most important of all education. Because that education ends one's material existence and enables one to return to one's real life and one's real position as a servant of Krishna in the spiritual world. Anandam Buddhi Vardhanam. It's like an ocean. Abudi means ocean, Ambudi. Anandam Buddhi Vardhanam. An eternal ocean of bliss. And that bliss that one tastes in Krishna consciousness, Pratipadam, Pranamrita Swadanam. At every step, Pratipadam means at every step. It is Purna Amrita. It is full of nectar. Aswadanam, it gives one a taste. And this is for everyone. And it's like taking a bath, you know, when you're very dirty and hot and sweaty, you take a bath, you become refreshed and renewed. So that Atma Snapanam, that bathing of the self, is achieved through the chanting of the holy names. So that's twice in there, that there is the cleansing. There's the cleansing of the mirror of the heart, and there's the bathing of the self in the nectar of the moonlike rays of the holy name. Param Vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam. Therefore, it is the most glorious thing in human society, this chanting of the holy name, this Krishna consciousness movement. We distribute prasadam, or food offered to Krishna, every month at the Southside Presbyterian Church to the homeless people. And one of the ladies there, who is a supporter and a volunteer, and she has some spiritual teacher. She didn't exactly tell me who it was. Maybe Buddhist or Mayavadi or something like that. She's all worried about the condition of the world. And I said, well, in this age of Kali, things are bad, but it's not that bad yet. Just wait. It's actually going to get worse. And she was very depressed by that. And I said, well, why are you so depressed? You're 80 years old. You're not going to be around. It's going to be a while before, you know, we can already see it getting worse. In our lifetimes, in my many decades of my lifetime, I have seen social conditions get worse and things get deteriorate in so many ways, the good qualities of the human being. That's the effect of Kali Yuga. But I said, don't worry, don't feel bad. By the chanting of Hare Krishna, we're changing people's hearts, one person at a time, one temple room full of guests at a time. Of course, we have temples all over the world, so it's not just here. It's going on. And the Christian conscious movement is rolling on, very powerful in many places of the world. Eastern Europe, the former Soviet Union, for example. India, wow. Unbelievable how powerful the Christian conscious movement is spreading in India. In Delhi alone, there are like, what, 18 temples? Of course, Delhi is one of the biggest megacities in the world, with like 30 million people or something like that. So there's temples in different parts of town. It's a big town. So that is the potency of the chanting of the holy name. And it is predicted in the scriptures that beginning with the appearance of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, there's going to be an eddy that goes against the tide of this fallen age, the age of Kali, which is carrying people downstream into the gutters of cosmic insignificance. And that eddy is called the golden age of Lord Chaitanya. And that is predicted to last for some 10,000 years. So there's a 10,000 year period of which a little over 500 have passed. So there's going to be a lot of wonderful things yet to manifest in this golden age of Lord Chaitanya. And one devotee has actually explained that it'll be 5,000 years up and then 5,000 years down. So the first 5,000 years is great, and we're only in the first 500. So, hang on, folks. It's going to get fantastic. If you become Krishna conscious, then you will experience that. So that is the mercy of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and the power of chanting the holy names of Hare Krishna and Hare Rama. So our time is up. We'll stop here. Questions, comments, realizations? All right, very good. And next we're having the chanting of the holy names and Artik, worship of Lord Krishna. And I will see you in the prasadam room on the other side, and we will give you nice prasadam offered to Krishna and expertly prepared with love. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki jai.